You
Don't
have a
accept
job!
knowledge.
You guys just don't understand.
Guys, we're recording.
I like to party.
Oh, you're supposed to go
Youths. Youths. God, you damn youths.
I wonder if everybody else is
You
fucking anything of
older
theirs.
people.
I bet we...
Hello, Professor Joseph. We're here to bring you comic relief. And then
She probably is not finding this funny.
have you grade our final. Sorry, it decreases points. And I know that this isn't part of my time.
I don't go here.
This is the boy.
Okay.
This is the boy that I do the dating.
Shut up and do this thing.
Hold on, wait.
Okay, wait, let me just scan this again. This is my pencil.
Okay. Everybody ready? Sometimes officer.
This is a professional meeting here, dear sir.
We're starting to get professional.
I'm too
Take
cool.
them off so we can start.
Too cool.
His mom is too
Okay,
cool.
I have to restart the alarm.
Your mom has to restart the alarm.
Okay, and tell me when to go.
Oh, too shy.
Yeah. Alright. Go. Hello everyone, my name is Christina Roberts. I am currently a junior at North Central College studying conflict resolution. I would like to start off by saying that in no way am I a professional. I can't offer any legal advice, nor can I be asked to give testimony in a trial. Now, can you guys tell me what your names are and what you would like me to address you as?
My name's Amanda. Just call me Amanda.
Call me Flint.
Flint?
You call me Flint.
Okay. So Amanda and Flint. That it's just the one time that it's happened that they parked in her spot.
It was a fun time.
Do you know your friends now park on the street when they come over, or do they park in other spots in the lot?
They park on the lot. They park on the street now.
They park on the street
The
now?
only time I parked there was because we're moving in.
Yeah, okay.
So it was just a
Okay.
vacation.
Alright, no, okay. So, I think that's all for right now. Is there anything else that you wanted to discuss?
How are you going to communicate?
Oh, that's right.
You can't just have post-it notes or garbage cans. Like, what's next? You're gonna like take a bear and just debate my house, because she can't obviously say it, so she has to show actions.
I think that you are kind of bringing up things that are incredibly unlikely. And it seems to be kind of escalating very quickly, in terms of what she could possibly do. There is a big difference between post-it notes and bear mauling your house.
Okay.
So, in the future, if you could kind of just keep that to a minimum, just because it's a little bit disrespectful.
Well, that's not my question though. My question is
No, I know. I just want to make sure that we're clear.
Okay, but how are we going to communicate in the future?
How do you suggest, like, what are you more comfortable with in communication?
Well, I'm a technologist. This is 2015. Cell phones,
Yeah.
email, have some kind of communication.
Okay. So.
Knock on the door, and she's going, I don't know, should I confrontation? Maybe just phone.
Okay.
That's the way to communicate.
Now, you would be okay, like, I understand phones are quite different, but with emails and everything, that, just personally for me, that does seem kind of almost like it's ringing similar to post-it notes.
Email?
Yeah. Just in that it's,
Okay. So just phone one?
Well, I mean, it's up to you. Do you feel like the email is similar to post-it notes, or do you feel like that would be something that you'd definitely be comfortable with?
I'll just stick with the phone, just because
Yeah.
seems more straight to the point and easier to communicate, which is email takes a lot.
Okay. I just want to make sure that you don't end up feeling as if this is being passive-aggressive and threatening again in the future.
No. She calls me. At least she's telling me. I'd rather hear verbal versus non-verbal.
Okay. So you would like verbal communication specifically.
Yes.
Now, it seems that Amanda kind of has a little bit of is not very comfortable with face-to-face communications. So, you're okay with just phone calls, texting, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, sure.
And face-to-face,
Yeah.
you can't get it, but.
I mean, now that I know that this is an issue,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to have any hesitation. I'm not going to be like, oh, no, it does the same thing. But clearly, there's an issue.
Yeah.
And you're here to solve this.
Okay. Also, one last question. Has there been any more problems specifically with you with, the parking situation, has there been any more garbage cans in your driveway or anything in your
Just
spot?
post-it notes and garbage can, that's
Okay,
about it.
just the ones with the garbage can though?
Yep.
Okay, all right, and you're willing to let me discuss all of this information with Amanda, just wanted to
Yeah,
repeat
sure.
and make sure. Okay, well, thank you so much, this is fantastic, if you could send Amanda an email.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christina.
You're welcome.
Marie Robbins.
Hello, Amanda.
Hi.
Hi. How are you? Okay. Now, I would like to start by asking you if there's anything that you would like to bring up with me that, hasn't been mentioned so far in the overall mediation.
I'd like for him to pay for the $25. Like him to know that this building is not part of campus. He can't keep on acting like he is. He needs to understand that there are older people. Act young, I understand, go crazy. But, he needs to take charge of his responsibility.
Okay.
That's generally what it is.
So you just mainly feel as if he's not taking responsibility for his actions, and you
Yeah.
would like for him to do that. Now, in terms of the ticket, what do you think that there's any way that you could reach a compromise outside of him full out paying for the ticket? Do you think there's anything else that can possibly make you feel more comfortable?
Well, if he were to, tell me, I'm sorry, it was my fault, something like that, and also, in addition to that, pay for a big part of the ticket.
Okay, so.
'Cause I mean, if this ever were to happen in the future, even if he didn't mean it to be, he should be able to tell his friends that he or she, whoever's coming over, shouldn't park there.
Okay.
And if I were to have to get a ticket, like $50 or something, that would probably not, go over well with me.
Okay, and you haven't had any issues with getting back into your parking spot since the initial incident?
When I'm there, no.
No, not when you're there, okay. Now, Flint, I can't remember if I've been calling him Flint or Dave. Flint, what? Flint, told me in his next private meeting that he would be willing to possibly split the check 50-50.
What check?
Not the check, the, ticket.
The ticket?
Yeah, the parking
Had
ticket.
he taken responsibility though?
He didn't say anything about a verbal, apology.
I mean, does he feel that he has to take some part of the, ticket because of the fact that it's partially his fault?
Well, he does feel bad. He,
Okay.
he does feel bad about it. He feels bad that you got a ticket. However, he doesn't feel that it's necessarily entirely his responsibility since it was his friend and he wasn't certain of the parking situation.
But he could have rectified that by going to the landlord. I don't understand that why he didn't just ask. It never hurts to ask. I've learned that since he keeps on saying, I am old. I've learned that from all my years.
Okay. Well, he does feel bad for it. He does, feel sorry that you got a ticket and he realizes that it's because his friend was parked in your spot and everything, and he does realize that. So he wants to make sure that it doesn't happen again. So he realizes that now it's his responsibility, but he feels as if the first time it may not have been his, but he is willing to pay part of the ticket because he does feel, bad that you got one, and, we can discuss a verbal apology with him.
Well, if he agrees, I guess, if we need to come to a compromise, I guess half will work, but in the future, if this ever happens again and I got a ticket, then I'm not paying for it.
Okay.
Like, he needs to pay for it.
Now, do you possibly see any, issues with that if he refuses to pay for it in the future, you refuse to pay for it in the future? Obviously, the ticket is under your name, legally it's yours and everything.
I will take it to the landlord.
You would take it to the landlord?
Yeah.
Do you see any problems with that possibly in the future?
Probably, but like what?
Like, what exactly is it that you believe that the landlord could do in that situation?
Well, I mean, generally speaking, I don't want this to happen to the kid because he's still starting out in his life, but generally, if, landlords get complaints about, tenants, the next place they move into, the other place asks for where they've lived before, and they will call that landlord, and that landlord will be obligated to say any problems they've had or anything like that. It almost gives them a black mark.
Okay,
I don't want
so
this to come to that, but, I mean,
you think that it would have more ramifications
if someone
on
in
Flint's
with
future?
power,
Okay.
affected it.
Okay.
But then I don't wanna, affect his future, cause, I mean, he has his whole life still ahead of him. And I understand that would not be good.
So you don't think that it would really truly affect you all that much though?
What?
Going to the landlord with any future ticket issues or anything, you feel that it would just affect Flint, which you don't want it to, but.
Yeah, I don't see it. Maybe there are ramifications that I don't see, but I've lived here for 7 years and I've never had a problem before, and if I'm speaking up now, the landlord knows me. He's not gonna really like say anything against me, I don't believe. I think he'll trust me that what I'm saying is true. I mean, he's a good landlord, he wants to keep everyone happy. And I mean, if he chose these people to live there, then he must have a reason and he must like them. So.
Now, Flint says that he has fixed the parking situation, that whenever his friends come over, they do park on the street.
Okay.
So, really it shouldn't be an issue in the future, however, if it is, that's something that possibly discuss in any future mediations that we have. Now there is the issue of the noise, what do you possibly think is a.
Well, it tends to be later at night, which I really can't
Can you give me
tolerate.
around a time period?
Well, I usually go to bed at like around 10:30.
Okay.
And I wake up around like 5. And I need that time to be just, they don't have to be completely silent, I need them to quiet down a little.
Okay.
And I understand that the way I've been communicating to tell them that is not the best way, now I do, but, I mean, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
And if they just quiet down during those times since the parking is settled and stuff.
What time do they usually stay up to that the noise continues to bother you?
Like 12 to 1 in the morning, maybe 2 if it's really kinda crazy.
Okay.
On the weekends, I prefer it to be quiet, like maybe if at 12 they finally settle down.
On the
Cause I mean,
weekends.
it's the weekends, of course, they are young, I understand that, but yet again, I need my sleep. I'm like dead tired by the end of the week and I just want my weekend to be where I can sleep.
Okay.
And so 12 maybe to 5 again, if they can be quieted down from those times, then maybe that'll work.
Now, Flint mentioned that he would possibly be willing to be more quiet later on into the night. He realizes that it could possibly be disruptive. We talked about the fact that you probably go to bed earlier since you have to wake up earlier. And so he's willing to work to make you more happy. He said that he would try his best to make sure that everybody does quiet down. He will make sure that the movies and music and everything are on a lower volume, but the rest of the people in his apartment might have, he'll work his best to make sure that they're quieted down, but he can't 100% guarantee that they will be, but he will, respect your wishes and try and make everybody else as well.
Could I just like, since I know he wants to call and stuff, and could I like call him then, maybe if it is getting too loud, and then just be like, hey, I need to speak, can you guys quiet down or something like that? It's too
Okay.
loud in the office or something.
Okay, and you're willing to do calling over Post-it notes and everything?
No, over the phone.
I know, that's what I mean, call.
Oh,
That's
yes,
a call.
yes.
So, do you agree that the Post-it notes are kind of a little bit passive aggressive and?
I understand that now.
Okay.
Now that I know him. Before, it honestly was, I know I am a bit like that, but it was just 'cause I didn't know them and I didn't wanna like get in a huge fight. I mean, a bunch of guys against me and they're young, I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Okay. Now,
But I understand that it was a mistake.
Okay. And the reason why is Flint feels as if it was, almost threatening to him as well, just in the same way that you feel threatened by a possible face-to-face altercation. He personally prefers to meet face-to-face, but he does agree that phone calls or even text messages would be, he would appreciate it if you were to call or text him as opposed to leaving Post-it notes on his door.
Well, I don't actually have texting yet.
You don't have texting? Okay.
Well,
Phone calls are fine.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't need texting. Nobody does. Okay, so.
I'd be more than happy to call him, but it does take out a little bit more time in the day to make time when he is there and I'm there just to talk things out, you know, just feel like it's easier to talk.
Okay, that makes sense. So you both seem to have the same sort of mindset when it comes to all of this, that you both want to come to some form of, compromise, and.
Well, yeah, I wanna work with this, I don't wanna force them to move out, but I need them to grow up a little and realize that, yes, it's a apartment, they're on their own, but there's other people involved.
Yes. Now, I feel as if it probably won't be too much of an issue to get a compromise, seeing as both of you seem to have the same frame of mind when it comes to all of this. But if something were to happen, we aren't able to, come up with a compromise that works fully, do you see any possible problems with not coming up with a solution today?
I mean, going to the landlord would create more problems, if
Do you think it would create more problems for you as well as Flint?
Probably, 'cause then I have to deal with it more, I mean, there's more time taken out of the day. I mean, even then they're gonna ask for like evidence or something, and at that point it's just kinda all hearsay, so I mean, each story is different, well, not different, we both do the same thing, but you know. If worse comes to worse and he doesn't pick up repeatedly when there's a lot of noise, I mean, then I don't wanna get the police involved, and he told me, like, through all the happenings that it just, he'd rather, you know, be called than have, Post-it notes.
Yeah.
So I'd rather, just talk to him instead of calling the police, but if worse comes to worse, to have, the police come in and settle them down.
Okay. And you think that that would be,
That'd
in
be
that
a lot more
situation?
problematic, 'cause then there's more paperwork and no one wants to do that, ain't nobody got time for that.
But in that situation, you feel that that would be the best solution, if
Yeah,
they were gonna.
'cause I mean, I have no power to tell them to settle down, and if, like I said, if he's not picking up repeatedly, then, I mean, and I could go to his door, and if I did, there's no answer, you know, too loud and everything, I don't know what else I would do. I can't like break in or anything, obviously.
Okay.
It's not morally right, or it's just weird, so
So.
call the police at that point.
What you're saying is if the situation is very extreme.
Yeah. I have to call the police.
Then you'll call first, take measures to communicate with Flint first,
Yeah.
and then
Call, then person, then if worse comes to worse, he still doesn't respond after several hours and it continues, call the police.
Okay. And do you feel at any point in time that they've gotten loud enough to the point that you, like in the past, since Flint has been living in the apartment complex, do you feel that there has been a point when he has gotten loud enough that you would possibly consider calling the police?
I don't think it's gotten to that point. I think maybe it's just, it's gotten to the point where it's a possibility, but I mean, after a while they settle down. But, I mean, as you said, they wanna live their life, and I don't know if they're gonna have a party, and with party comes alcohol, with alcohol comes crazy behaviors that are unpredictable.
Okay. Alright, so I think that for the most part, we're good to go with this private meeting. If you could go and grab Flint from the hallway and bring him back in here, that would be fantastic, and we can continue on with the mediation. Guys, please. Going to avoid the name calling. Okay. So, in our caucuses, we, both of you guys seem to have the same frame of mind in this whole situation. You both seem to really wanna compromise. Both of you are willing to compromise on the ticket. Amanda is more willing to communicate better, and Flint, you are willing to work around with the noise problem. So Amanda was saying that she usually goes to bed around 10:30. So do you feel that that is a time that you would be willing to possibly quiet down, like around 10:30, 11 or something, quiet down yourself and
Is that every night or is it
Just during the weeks. During the weekends, if it could be around 12, cause I understand you wanna live your life and have more fun, but if it could be like around 10:30, 11 during the weeks,
Okay.
and then 12 on weekends, I'd really appreciate it.
That's fine.
you think that's reasonable? Okay.
Yeah. And if you ever wanna join us, those as well.
Okay, continuing on, thank you, no.
So, Amanda has also agreed that in a situation where she feels that you guys are being kind of loud and it's disrupting her sleep, she, instead of leaving Post-its, is willing to call you
Okay.
and speak to you verbally. Now, she also says that if something happens and she's not able to reach you,
Okay.
that she would be willing to, she'd be willing to take the steps and run to your apartment and talk to you, speak to you face to face.
Verbally call first.
Yes.
Okay.
She would like to keep it to
Especially
calling.
well, it's just if it's at night, I mean, I'm already kind of dressed for night, I'm not
Yeah.
really like.
It makes sense. Okay.
Kind of bed image.
Yes.
Okay.
However, Amanda says that if something were to happen, she's not able to reach you, the noise is too loud and you and your friends are not quieting down, that she would be willing to call the police.
Okay.
If it ever got to that point, I prefer, like, if I called you, but if you were to answer, it was too loud when I went to the door, and it didn't stop for several hours, that's like the
Yeah,
worst
okay.
case scenario.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I don't want to, cause you know, adds more paperwork and just a lot of things that don't need to be there.
Right.
But she will,
Okay.
talk to you first and try and communicate with you before anything
Okay.
drastic. Now in terms of the ticket, Flint, you said that you would be willing to
Pay 50/50.
Yeah.
You'd be
Just,
willing to pay 50/50?
yeah, I just, I'm gonna pay 50/50, I just, like I said, didn't know why I got it, but now I understand that it was like an apartment spot, so that was rug in Mr. Flint's part to, decide, so yeah, I'm gonna pay 50/50.
Okay.
But my only concern is, what if, the
How would it not be your responsibility?
Well, I'm just saying, like, if I do it again, say like my friend parks there again, would I be able to, I'd pay the full ticket that time?
Well, now that you know, I feel like you would have to, because this, I understand you wouldn't pay for the whole thing, cause you didn't know completely.
Okay.
But now that you are aware, I feel like you should have to claim responsibility because of this.
Okay.
And that would be my understanding for paying it in the future, and
Okay.
hopefully it doesn't happen in the future.
Okay.
So, but you want Flint in the future if something does happen with this and you do get another parking ticket, you feel like Flint should be the one to have to pay for it?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
and Flint, do you think that's reasonable?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
For loudness level, like, what's your definition of loud? So you hear across the hall,
Where
the hall?
I can hear it like reverberating throughout the apartment.
Okay.
And like occasional really laughing out loud for a long time, okay, whatever.
Okay.
But when it's a whole movie that's like really loud and I can hear basically the whole movie.
Right.
That's I don't wanna know what movies you guys are watching, not particularly.
Maybe it could be the movie Rosebud. It could be Vertigo. Yeah. That might have
Okay.
my interest.
Sorry,
So.
thank you though, but yeah, I'm not interested.
I'm not interested in saying those are some movies I watch.
Okay, so, Amanda feels like it's not unreasonable for, you to quiet down,
Okay.
turn down the volume of the music and the movies and everything, understands that every now and then things might get loud, but as long as, for the most part, it stays quiet and you guys quiet down again after it gets loud. If she has any real issues with it, that she will call you first.
Okay.
You feel that's reasonable again?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Fine.
And I'd just like to say, I'm sorry that it was, you felt threatened by the posters. I didn't know what else to do to communicate.
Right.
But I understand now. Just wanted to put that out there.
Flint is sorry that I decided to play loud music. People are just disruptive. Actually, I should know if I did that. There's other people in the complex that stress just me. Most people do. I will make smart for the future.
Now, Amanda has also brought forth that she would like for there to be some form of verbal apology for the ticket,
Okay.
just because it's partially your responsibility. She realizes that it's not entirely your responsibility.
Right.
But she wants some form of verbal apology.
Understand.
Which, would you be willing to just?
Yeah. Can I tell kind of how it happened, and just like, or just like give the apology?
Go for it.
Well, we were moving in that day, and we put the moving truck there, and we didn't leave there all night, which is my apology, but I didn't know about the parking situation. I apologize for that. And next time we're gonna move out, I'll park on the street, and won't happen again. You have my word that I will be more respectful to you and your lifestyle, and make sure that you can go to work on time and have a good night's sleep, and feel welcome, because you haven't been there for 7 years. I only been there for a year. And then we just keep communication, consistently, so that we don't have any huge altercations in the future.
Now, the last thing that I would like to address is just general communication. We've already talked about at night when it's kind of noisy. But in general, if there is some form of issue on either part, probably you guys should communicate with each other better, whether it be over phone calls or face to face. That goes for you, Flint, if you have some form of problem with the way that Amanda is communicating with you, or something that Amanda is doing.
Yeah.
And then Amanda, you as well, if you have any other problems, if you feel
So
as
on either
there's.
side.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Anything that you guys feel is not necessarily right, you should probably communicate with each other better.
Okay.
Now,
Fair enough.
do you guys want to set up another mediation in a couple months' time to see how things are going?
Preferably, I'd like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Okay.
Do you wanna do a couple months or do you wanna do like 6 months?
6 months would work, that's,
Okay.
just enough time to
Yeah.
see how things continue on.
Yeah.
Okay, so how about we say September 15th
Yes.
of this year?
And, just be good discussing like basically going over, just reviewing the contract that we kind of signed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, even if nothing's really going on, if nothing really seems to be an issue anymore, we don't have to have be a full-out mediation. We
Okay.
can just meet and kind of talk, and if everything's going great, then that's fantastic. This is really far in advance, so if something does come up and you guys need to change the date, feel free to call, let me know.
Okay.
Shouldn't be any issue at all.
Yeah.
So,
That's no issue at all.
do you guys feel that we've come to a successful conclusion tonight?
Yes, especially when we first started off. I think, got a lot better.
Okay.
Good, we made success.
Okay, well, it's been lovely working with you guys. I appreciate
You
your
too.
cooperation. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you, Ms.
I'm glad that we could solve the problems.
Christina?
You're welcome. Okay.
You're ridiculous.
Obnoxious.
I'm obnoxious.
I'm obnoxious. Are you, did you give that fish from?
How do you, pause it?